Ignacio Linares from Paytime. Big applause. Ian Patterson, founder and executive president at Respiro Car Sharing. And finally, Yuri Fernandez from Uber. Come on, boys. I want a little bit of blood here, okay? So, push them. They're there, they cannot move. Thank you, guys.
So let's start. Yeah, this is perfect. Let's start the meeting. Thanks for coming, all of you. It's a pleasure for me to share with you this panel. All of you represent key players, which is shaping the future of the mobility industry. So let's start thinking about the future of the mobility, despite it could mean any complaint about our Renfe approach to startups and so on. So feel free to give your opinion. Let's start with Nacho. Nacho's CEO and founder of Paytime. Nacho, the question to you is, do you seriously think that I would be able to pay and buy something in Renfe paying only with my time, without any money? Trick or treat?
No, this is treat, and we're very serious about it. And I know it sounds ludicrous, but we've all heard many things before that sounded very weird, and then it turned out right. So what we're saying is, look, this whole ecosystem here, and it doesn't matter if it's Spain or the UK or the US, we're talking with investors worldwide. And the truth is, the entire ecosystem is based on advertising. We collect data, all of us, because we want to sell it to brands so that they can make accurate pitches to us and they can make compelling proposals to us. Many of you will remember an ad from Pirelli, the tires brand, many years ago. There was a tire and there was a very powerful leg of an athlete with a shoe, with a high heel shoe. And the headline was, "Performance is nothing without traction." What we say is, data is great and you can have all the data in the world. But if you don't have my time of attention, everything that you know about me is useless. So what we're trying to say is, collect the data and we can help on that, but make sure you negotiate with a person what is the time when they can use that data to my purpose. And that's what we're doing. We're creating a platform where each one of us can trade our time of attention, choose when it's convenient for us, choose what is interesting for us, and get a credit out of it. And that credit we can use to buy services, we can buy products on our smartphone, or we could buy traveling expenses, or we could buy things in the trains. So yeah, by all means, we do believe that this is the real money in the next century.
We recently signed an agreement between Renfe and you. What's your opinion of the Renfe approach? How do you see, put an example of how we will make business in the future, in the short term? Put an example of the way we can see your business model.
Right, okay, so I think it's fairly straightforward when it comes to traveling. If there's one thing that you have when you're sitting on a train, it's time. So if I have a few minutes of time when I'm traveling on a train, at that moment I can click on a button and my profile and my data will be activated in an exchange. And brands which are interested in getting close to me, they will say, okay, this is a good moment. Now he has time. Now I'm not fighting to get his attention. He's ready to listen to something that I want to say. And I will engage with that brand, collect a credit, and probably I can buy maybe a movie, or maybe I can buy insurance on the train, or maybe I can buy a discount or loyalty points for Renfe because I'm traveling frequently in Renfe. So that's the sort of model that we see. What we think is that in the traveling industry, and Renfe is a very good example, you guys are sitting, if you will, on an asset that is worth a fortune, and it's time of attention of individuals. And what we do is help Renfe trade that time of attention on behalf of its users for things that you want, for products and services that you want.
Okay. Ian, what's your opinion about the current mobility model? How do you see from the fresh air that Respiro are introducing?
So what Respiro is doing, thanks to the digital transformation that is occurring at this point in time, is that we're part of the paradigm shift from mobility as a product, in particular the car as a product that has been traditionally purchased and used and again for almost all situations in the transport sector, and the car as a product represents 90% of the biggest area of economic activity that exists, which is transport. And so thanks to new technologies, we're experiencing a paradigm shift, digital transformation that makes possible using transport or cars as a service. So Respiro, we're the pioneers of car sharing in Madrid and the leading company. And what we do is we offer cars in your neighborhood by the hour or by the day via new technologies on a platform that's app-based. So that is possible at as little as €2 an hour or 25 euros a day. And that's attractive for millions of people who live in urban settings. It's important to understand that the private car is an extremely expensive asset. It's the second most expensive asset of the household. And if you drive less than the average, which is 1,000 kilometers per month, then you can save somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 euros a year using the car as a service with Respiro. So 50% of the people that have a car and live in Madrid could be saving 2,000 to 3,000, up to 4,000 euros a year by paying as you go. And that's essentially our model. It's car sharing, represented by Respiro, is the first example of the connected car. So everything works via remote technologies, RFID, SMS, web, etc. And because it's telematic, we don't need a huge amount of staff to operate the system. So a telematic system that allows you to hire a car in your neighborhood by the hour or by the day.
And tell us something about the scale of your company. Tell us something about the threat that it will mean to the automotive industry. How they are looking your approach of car sharing.
So Respiro, from the outset, was a startup. We began in 2010 with just 10 cars. And we've managed to double or triple the size of fleet, clients, and revenue every year since beginning. So now we're on 200 cars in 100 locations within the M30, the ring road around Madrid. So a relatively small company, nevertheless, sometimes, traditionally in the last few years, OEMs or car producers have seen us as a type of threat to the traditional car sales model. But in the last year or two, they're beginning to understand that the paradigm of the car as a product can coexist together with the car as a service, and that people are very intelligent. They will choose the model that suits them the best when they need it. And 30% of society, 30% of the population don't own a car. So Respiro fits very well with that type of individual, the type of individual who also uses public transport a lot. Thanks to new technologies, you can make a kind of continued mobility, an intermodal or multimodal solution where you have information in real time and you can connect much better between, for example, trains arriving at Atocha or Chamartín and then can continue the last mile or the last 50 kilometers or whatever that you need to do with Respiro or with Uber, because there's micro-mobility and we are longer distance travel. So 50, 60 kilometers is the average trip with Respiro. So we're like a digital rent-a-car, in fact. So if that explains it.
Yuri, your company, well known for everyone, with a strong platform technology, has already disrupted the transport and mobility market, urban mobility at least. How are you adding value to the market? How are you changing the rules of our industry?
Yes, I would say that at the very beginning, Uber was not that disruptive. 6 years ago, when Travis and Garrett Camp came up with that idea, it was just about to put in contact professional drivers with people who wanted a ride. In this case, we were talking about taxis. In fact, the first name of Uber was Uber Cab. 6 years later, we realized that we are able to tackle some of the most important problems in cities, which are congestion and pollution. And how we do that, how we can add value, as you're asking. First of all, I was mention that we are now able to put more people in fewer cars, which is one of the most important objectives of the smart cities. Because if we want to reduce the cars that are circulating every day inside Madrid or from the suburbs to the city center, it's all about efficiency, which means more people into fewer cars. And how we do that? We do that through Uberpool. Uberpool is a service that it's already on place in 50 cities all around the globe. And this is a carpooling system, real-time carpooling system. So if I am going from here to Cologne and someone is in the same itinerary that I'm following, we can match this trip. So this person and I will share a part of the trip and also the cost. This means lower prices for everyone, so trying to make transport more affordable. In the other side, and probably more important, is that we are removing cars from the streets. Sorry. The other part of the equation is how are these cars moving, which is the technology. And we are talking about electrics here. Here in Madrid, we are ready to launch a fully electric service. It will happen before the end of the year. And we strongly believe that the combination of carpooling and more sustainable cars can be a game changer for cities and can try to inaugurate this new mobility model that we are always talking about, but no one really knows how to do it.
One question more, Yuri. How complement is your strategy with other new players like Respiro, Car2Go, BlaBlaCar, and so on, and as well with incumbent companies like Renfe, for example, Alsa, and so on? Which is the level of complementarity?
This is the key part of this debate for me. I mean, at the end, we have been accused of compete with all sorts of mobility alternative, taxis, of course, but also trains, public transport, car sharing, etc., etc. The reality is that if we are able to offer to citizens all the alternative for all prices, for all moments, sorry, and for every single time that then they need transport, then and just then they will be able not to buy a car. If I live, for example, in the suburbs, I will not have access to easy transport, so I will need my car at least to go to the station of the train and then get to the city center. So if we want to make our mission true, which is transport as reliable as running water, everyone has to be able to access to an affordable transport in less than 5-minute time. So in that sense, for us, being complementary, for example, with Renfe, someone that comes from Barcelona to Madrid, and once he gets to Atocha, he needs a transport, let's say, for example, for one of the stations or the places where you park your cars, we can complement this transport, but also with public transport. At the end in Paris, 40% of our trips start or end in a metro station in the peripheric. So there is a lot of people that is using us just for this last mile transport, then access to metro or to bus to get to the city center.
One question just for all of you. We are talking about new economy, digital economy, and so on. All your business are more reliable in terms of data management, information for the clients, or are we talking about traditional business in terms of transport services? Where has to focus? In the data management business, or maybe this is a traditional business like transport service that we have to reinvent?
For Respiro, at least, what we're talking about is an evolution from traditional business to new economy businesses, and where big data can help you match supply and demand in a more efficient manner. That is where you start getting competitive advantage towards the traditional products that we mentioned earlier. So what you end up with is a market full of segments where before there was only one or two offerings, and we have a proliferation of new offerings that are tailored to specific needs. So Uber is a short trip together with Car2Go. Respiro is a longer trip, so 50, 60 kilometers on average. So what you see is that you will end up using different services for different needs in different moments of time, depending on your mobility situation. And that is data-driven and digitally enhanced and digitally enabled, because you can find the right customer, and the customer can make those decisions in a very easy way, right? So it's, it's at the end of the day, it's all economics. The definition of economics is the allocation of resources, and improved economics is the improved allocation of resources. So people are becoming smarter and moving smarter, and we are trying, all of us, to do that in different ways, which I think are very complementary.
Let me follow on that topic, because I think our approach is obviously rather innovative and we're more disruptive. We're not coming from the traveling industry. What we're saying is there is something that has been a byproduct of the traditional traveling industry, which was time. It's a new asset in this new economy, and it's super valuable. So what we're trying to do is help the true owners of that asset, which is each one of us sitting here. We are the owners of our time of attention and of our data. That is the asset that is moving this new economy. And in the traveling industry, that asset was a byproduct. It was something that was actually, you guys tried to be as efficient as possible in traveling time and try to reduce it as much as possible. And it's not like if we're proposing make trips longer, but what we're saying is surely that person can use some of that time to generate value that they could use for other products and services. And that's our approach, which is 100% data-driven, but always owned by the owner of that asset.
This is the power of your business as a complement, as an ancillary business to the traditional service one. So thanks for all of you for coming. It's a pleasure have this kind of debate. And thanks as well the audience for coming here. Thank you. Thank you.